Okay. Let's see if we get a couple people in here. All right. What is up, boys and girls? Welcome to the live stream. This is going to be sort of a laid-back thing. We're going to talk about some drumming. Hopefully you can hear me. It's been one of those days. But we're gonna get after it a little bit. Talk about some of this stuff. So how's it hanging? I got a few things that I want you guys to check out that I'll talk about. It's not really, I guess it is a reaction video, but kind of show y'all some stuff, an angle on some of this drumming stuff that maybe you haven't ever thought of before, or maybe you have and you just enjoy some of these clips. We'll see what happens. Testing out some of the screen sharing capability. I'm trying to max out StreamYard, see what it does. Let's see. Okay. And let's make sure. See how it's working. Bear with me. Excuse me while I whip this out. Okay, it says we're live. Okay, hang on. I'll just send it to a few people. We don't need to break the bank here. I could sit here all day and share it with people. I just want to make sure all this is working, and then we'll have some fun. Okay. Tagged a few. I may continue to tag people here. I don't know. First thing I want to show you is a Buddy Rich thing. Those of you guys that know me know I'm a huge Buddy Rich fan. He's had a massive influence on my playing, as most drummers, especially if you're a jazz guy. I think Buddy is one of the most misunderstood dudes. You know, everybody's heard of the infamous bus tapes and all that stuff where he's chewing out his band. He cusses one guy for having a beard. I was just going to say this. I've worked for hard to work for people before, but it doesn't mean they were always that way. And it doesn't mean that, that Buddy was necessarily a jerk. Everybody has their good and bad days, and Buddy was also the boss of the band. It was his band, and he expected excellence. And, so I think he's a little, yes, we are live. I think he was a little misunderstood, because there were guys in his band, that even through all of those tough times, Buddy would be difficult, and he'd lean on people in his band. Some of those guys played with him forever. I mean, his arranger was in his band for 30 years. Still runs the band. When Buddy Rich's band shows up, it's still some of these guys. Let me know if my audio is good, please. So I want you guys to check this out, and I'm going to stop it. Fair use. Give me a second. Excuse me while I whip this out. Here we go. I apologize if ads start to pop in here. And give me just a second. There it is. Sometimes it takes StreamYard is a little different from some of the other platforms that I've messed with. I used to use XSplit, but XSplit doesn't like the MacBook, so whatever. But here we go. Obviously, this is off the Johnny Carson show.
Called Speak No Evil. It's kind of a rock jazz. It is great, something different. He will be appearing in concert with the Dallas Symphony on Saturday night if they let him.
I also want to add in, Buddy was a funny guy. He came from vaudeville or whatever. He's got this sort of wise guy, kind of gruff way of talking thing. And he has a really good rapport with Johnny Carson because they were really good friends.
And they haven't met him yet. Buddy could show up and say, I'm here. Wrong. Out. And he'll be at Carnegie Hall on July the 2nd.
Wow.
Oh, just fantastic. At Carnegie Hall. Not going to be doing anything.
Just there.
I don't know why I say those things. Well, I know why, because here he is, the Prince of Darkness, Buddy Rich.
It's funny he calls him the Prince of Darkness. That's hilarious.
Buddy. No, I listen to this. I want to say, first of all, with no joking aside, because we kid each other all the time.
Yep.
You gave this to me this afternoon. I ran up to my office and I put it on, and it's the rock jazz, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
It's totally different for the band.
It really.
And RCA is very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. It was just released.
I'm excited about it.
Right?
Buddy also wanted to make sure that he was moving the art form forward in the big band setting. So, he got, and there were some really, really wild charts that he got into, and some of it was rocking, and Buddy wasn't real good at playing straight beats, like rock stuff. In fact, he took some lessons with the guys that were trying to help him with that, and he got really frustrated because everything he did had a swing to it.
Right?
Yeah.
Want to go on the road with me?
As relief drummer?
Well, that wouldn't be much of a relief.
Now, you see, right away, I plug your album here. That spot alone, showing this album is probably worth thousands of dollars. And I say nice things about it. Wake up.
Oh.
And then you come out and I say, as a relief drummer.
Well, you know why I
right
said
away.
that? You remember about 5 or 6 years ago, the first album the band did from the Shea, and in the on the liner notes,
Yes.
you said that you'd like to travel with the band
Well, that's right.
as a band boy,
That's right.
right? Well, I can use you now.
What does a band boy do?
Sets the drums up, runs out and gets cokes and whatever.
Don't you set up? Don't you set up your own drums?
I like how Buddy said Cokes with an S. There were rumors. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised. It was the 70s and 80s. I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard rumors that Buddy was doing some of that stuff, the dummy dust. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe that. Just saying. Here we go.
Why? Because here he is, the Prince of Darkness, Buddy Rich.
Let's
The
get
band
back to
did
work.
from the Shea. And in the on the liner notes,
Yes.
you said that you like to travel.
Picks them up and puts all the
Right?
symbols
They
in.
lead me out to the drums,
That
sit
you
me
can
down,
play
I
and you go home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you obviously don't take them apart either.
No, I don't. I don't know the first thing about that. Let's see. That's a bass drum. Yeah, right. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're traveling, you Carnegie Hall, Dallas Symphony
we've been doing
Orchestra.
some really nice things. The past couple of days, we've been playing outdoor carnivals. We played one in Cleveland the day before yesterday.
So this is cool, but let's get to the band.
A guy come up with a mask on and a scissor and just snips
Probably
it.
some of the guys in the band would like to do that while you
But he was a trumpet player.
and remove the stitches.
No, they put them in. They'd make some new holes there. Right?
Okay, we got to do a commercial. Only the guys.
Look
know
at Shaughnessy,
Sure,
right?
look at him. Yeah, they
You
love
want to be
that.
the assistant?
Short thing. I met Ed Shaughnessy back at one of the PASIC conventions. I was surprised at how short he was, and I didn't realize that he had a bad foot. Like one leg was longer than the other, so he had one of those orthopedic shoes. But yeah, Ed Shaughnessy was a great drummer, man. Legend. And Johnny Carson was a pretty decent drummer too. No slouch.
They love cruelty. They like the idea of the band coming up and doing it. We'll do this, and we'll be right back.
Wonderful, Ed. Old friend.
Keep your favorite moments alive.
Oh, sorry, ads.
Amazon
Sorry.
Photos offers unlimited full resolution photo
Sorry.
storage with your Prime membership.
Who's out to him?
Hi. Didn't realize to this moment I've been playing my cigarette box wrong all these years.
But
That
playing
I'm,
with a filtered pencil.
that I'm not coming over with my
You're not coming
the
over
second
with the
finger
second
and
finger
giving it any
and
sound.
giving it any sound.
It's wrong.
Wonderful. All right, all right. I
Butter.
don't know.
Parquet. Never mind. Okay. So you're going to show me what I've been doing wrong.
Yes.
Because
Would you like to know?
we hired these from Rented Drums, Rented Drum City or whatever.
Oh, that's
Cheers, by the way.
Those are good drums.
Are they?
Bars open.
Certainly.
I'll be the judge of that. You want me to play now?
Would you like to?
No, not especially.
Oh, go play.
Yes, they are drums. Left hand.
Okay, so right off the bat, notice how musical all of that stuff is and how relaxed Buddy is. I mean, Buddy's been playing for a million years at this point. You know, he's no spring chicken. He's an old guy, but this stuff is coming out very fluid and musically. You know, everybody remembers that Buddy had a ton of chops, and his left hand was probably the best left hand ever in drumming. But he was, you know, I don't think he gets enough credit for how he's improvising all of this stuff and how just good it is. Also, notice his use of the snare drum. You know, he's getting all the texture in with presses, buzzes, rolls, diddles, you know, straight diddles. You know, there's a lot of technique going on in there. Whoops. Did you guys hear that stick click in there? You know, when you're going at that blazing of a pace, man, it's real hard to not have that happen. But it doesn't really phase him, so you know he keeps on plowing through. So right there, that's a pretty good demonstration of all the different ways that Buddy is getting strokes out of his left hand and his right hand. So all of that is not just for flash. He's actually pumping out notes and using his arm and wrist and stuff. Not necessarily Moeller method. He's getting all of that stuff out. I mean, there's a reason why he's doing all that. Fingers in there. Here we go with the classic Accelerando. Woo! And here comes the band. So a lot of people don't talk about this, but Buddy had these solos that everybody in the band was supposed to know. This is how, because everybody thinks that Buddy's playing these solos and he's counting. Sometimes he is, but Buddy had these fills. One of them was like, bow, and that's when the band, they would know. They knew these fills that Buddy was going to play. So, and everybody in the band had to know, because if you missed it, you might get fired that night. I mean, sometimes Buddy would just go and he'd be like, 1, 2, and count the band in. But you were expected to know that fill that he was playing to wrap up his solo. That means we're in. Obviously, for that stuff, he's counting. He's remembering the chart. Buddy was notorious. He didn't really read music hardly at all, but he could hear a chart 1 or 2 times, and he's got it. He's like, got it. I know where I'm supposed to do all these fills and how long. You know, okay, that's why Buddy is Buddy. I mean, you know, there's tons of great drummers and historically great drummers. I mean, Tony Williams, Joe Jones, Buddy just had his left hand was probably he was the first guy to do all of that stuff that everybody tries to do with the one what they call it the one-handed roll or buddy roll. It's actually just a double sticking. You're using finger and hand. He can get triplets or out of one hand. He's the first guy to do that. So let me kill that one. Or hang on, let's see if there's something funny at the end here. He'll usually say something smarty pants.
I think I have it now, Ollie. It's right in the. That's it over the left hand.
Left hand, just a finger.
You are
Nuts.
incredible. I know you're nuts, but you're also incredible.
Thank you, John.
Gee, whiz.
Huh.
And that's
I don't
what the
know why.
stick is in.
That's what the stitch is in.
Oh,
I have my drum sitting up in my office downstairs, and I sit there, and it sounds nothing like that or like Shaughnessy.
Did you ever hear us tell a joke?
What?
Ever hear us tell a joke?
You got something there.
You know,
yeah.
I mean,
Every
I think this interview, I have to look at the date, but I think this was post Buddy's heart surgery. I don't know. Maybe. I'll have to look at the time that this all happens. I mean, but that's pretty remarkable. I mean, he's an old guy. He's still in fairly good shape. He's got a little Ponce de Leon, but who doesn't? He's 60-something years old. I'm pretty sure he's pretty close to 70 there. So here we go. Let's. I want to show you some more stuff. Yeah, Buddy's. I still watch stuff. Some videos I've seen over and over and over again. That it's just it's hard to. I learn something every time I watch some of that stuff. Why is it not doing that? There we go. Stop that. And I want you to see this. Here is definitely one of Buddy's disciples and one of my favorite drummers. You're going to see how all of these techniques and things carry over. Completely different style of music, but this is a JoJo Mayer video, and you're going to see that JoJo pulls out all of these techniques, but in a different way. But he definitely had all this stuff that he copped from watching Buddy. Oh. what's cool about JoJo is when he's doing this stuff. This is a group called Nerve, but it's just him and the bass player. Nerve. They've got a couple of guys play keys and stuff. JoJo's real good at getting all of the textures out of whatever the gear he's using. It's pretty remarkable, along with being creative in how they build these songs up. Very musical. I'm guessing, I didn't look, I'm pretty sure this is from like a NAMM show. This is a fairly old video. Little reggae in there. So you notice JoJo's pretty much using a match grip on this. He has a really, really good hand. He could do most of that stuff that Buddy can with his left hand. And at some point, you see him break that out. And he just flops back and forth at his discretion, depending on what he's trying to get out of his left hand. So those are linear pattern licks right there. So it's usually hand, hand, foot, foot, hand, foot, foot, hand. They sound really cool. It's not necessarily that hard to do if you have a good foot technique, especially if you have double pedals. Then the sky starts to open up. But that's what those are. Also, he's doing a bunch of stuff in there where he's moving the timing around, which is pretty cool. So you play everything like you move like everything you're doing, you just move it a quarter note over, or sometimes an eighth note over, and you get this really shifty sound, along with playing polyrhythms, or, like a triplet or a fivelet feel. Hippopotamus, 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 hippopotamus. That's fivelet, hippopotamus. There it is, hippopotamus, hippopotamus. Okay, so what's going on right here? It might just sound like he's just jamming over stuff. So what this is called an ostinato pattern. So the bass player is going to continuously loop this part, and his job is to really not listen to whatever craziness that JoJo's coming up with, but to nail that part so that when JoJo decides to sync up with him, it better be there. And it's pretty remarkable. Good drummers can do this. But that's what's going on here. JoJo is going to solo over this ostinato bass part. Okay, so some of this stuff like this, I have been on gigs where I start feeling myself. Maybe I've had a beer or two. We're in a song that I'm really comfortable with, and I'll start doing some of these things where I start moving the downbeats or shifting what I'm playing over. Steve Gadd has a whole thing. Maybe we'll talk about it at some point. Steve Gadd has a whole thing where he talks about just moving the same thing that you play over a quarter note or a 16th note over, and so that you, all of a sudden now you get this really syncopated sounding thing. But I've been guilty of doing that and losing the bass player. And you get funny looks like that because that's not your job to lose the bass player. I mean, unless the bass player is challenging you in sort of a open format like this to like, okay, let's see if you can lose me kind of thing. But that's not what I did. That's called just about getting fired on the gig. You know, so sometimes they hire you because you're a really good drummer, but they don't necessarily want you to demonstrate how good of a drummer you are. Yeah. Okay, how rad was that? But in that video, the JoJo never goes over to his traditional grip. Maybe I could find a video. He had a book that he put out back in the early '90s on Mahler method, and it was the book and the video that everybody was watching back in those days on Mahler method. Besides Jim Chapin, who was the Mahler method guy. So last thing I'm going to show you, or at least I had planned to show you. Let's get rid of that. We're going to shift to a different style of drumming, but it's still drumming. This is the Cavaliers drum line from last year. They won the gold medal. Deservedly so, because I mean there were some great lines. Everybody was really good last year. Blue Devils obviously still good. Carolina, Boston Crusaders, Bluecoats. Throughout the season, Cavaliers were just consistently good. I did, however, saw one of the snare drummers break at the San Antonio show, which is not. It's only a couple weeks before finals. This video that I'm going to show you is finals week. This is as good as a drumline is going to get throughout the season because it's it's the end of the season. They've been working on this stuff. I mean, these guys, Bugle Corps season, they're playing this stuff every day over and over, honing it out. So they're not in uniform. This is in the lot. My reason for showing you this is to maybe train your ear a little bit to hear, because people hear drumline and loud drums or whatever. But when you hear the intricacy, like they were so clean that when they do fluff or something gets wide, it sticks out like a sore thumb, at least to my ears. And I'll try to spot some of those for you. So right off the bat, those double stop things, even though they're playing a lot of notes, that stuff is really hard to clean. So, make it sound like it's one guy playing a part. It's really hard. Whew. Oh, right there. It got a little fuzzy. Let me back it up. Maybe you can hear it. Right there. That little 5-stroke roll right there. There it is. See, that would drive me nuts. And I know they heard it, and they're like, "Oh, somebody just pushed a little too hard." And they're humans. They're not, it happens. But that one right there, too. What's that? This little paradiddle pattern. So what's probably happening is this is finals night. They're warming up, and they're probably a little amped. So you do have to kind of practice those jitters out so that the ticks are all gone. Ticks are the mistakes, we call them. The ticks should be gone by the time you go and actually perform. So it's understandable that some of that's going to happen in the lot. Really good. Oh, that was beautiful. So they're getting a lot of different stick heights and stuff in there. They're not ram-a-lamming and playing a bunch of because Boston and a bunch of these other lines were playing a whole bunch of stuff. These guys were playing a little less stuff, but it was really clean. So you can hear it when it sticks out how clean it is. Up. Cool. So yeah, this part in the show that they're getting warmed up. I mean, they're getting ready to play for the gold medal, world champion. So but what I'm trying to do is train your ear to hear these rolls. I mean, when we practice stuff on the practice pad and we play with a line, you got to train your ear to what it sounds like when it's clean, because it's easier to understand what it sounds like when everything's dirty and everything's mushing out. But when your ears hear clean, all of a sudden your brain starts to train in and zero in on that, and you start to adjust your hands, and then it starts to become comfortable. Then it starts to become second nature. Anybody that's ever marched a good drum line will tell you that. At some point, you get locked in to that you can't make a mistake. It's almost, you almost have to like think about like, how can I cheese this? So here we go. Good job, basses. Good drags. Those are cool. Those can be hard to clean because everybody's diddle, it cannot mush out. Hand to hand. Oh, that got a little wide there. Nice buzz. Ooh. They wish they had that rep back. They didn't like it. There you go. It's the same phrase again. I think this is the feature. Nice. Those crescendo rolls are very hard to clean. That's when drumlines put that in, they're expecting the judge to acknowledge that, and you want to nail that so that the judge hears it like, oh, crescendo roll, that was really great, or decrescendo roll. Back in the old Santa Clara days, they used to do that with 6 tuplets, which is crazy. Nice touch. Here we go, tempo change, solo. Yep. There you go. Their tenor line was really good. There we go. Here we go. This is the drum break right here. Now they put it, stopped it on that. That roll was really clean. The attack on it. That was really clean. They put in a backsticking roll in their snare feature with some drum to drum. It's pretty brave, and it was also old school. A lot of drum lines don't do that anymore. Back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, you used to see that a lot. Oh, beautiful. Let's hear the snare break. I think this is it. Nice. Bass drum line, they were unbelievable. Oh, good Spock roll with the crescendo on the end. Ooh, fuzzed there at the end. Here's the next phrase. This should be the snare break in this. Not a ton of notes, but sometimes that's really hard to clean. I just noticed in these videos they're missing a guy. Their center snare guy is not in this video. Strange. Anyway, that give you some ideas of what to listen for in some of this stuff. That's all I had picked out for you today. That might be enough to stop. Sorry, ads. That might be enough to explode your brain if you're not a drummer. There's kind of a lot going on between Buddy Rich, JoJo Mayer, and then drumline stuff. So shit, that was a lot. But you know, that's one of the cool things about drumming is like drumming is still hand in hand, hands and feet, and drum set stuff and cymbals and all that stuff. But there's so many different styles and so many different ways to do it. It's like same with guitar. You know, you see Joe Walsh play a Stratocaster, and then you see Stevie Ray Vaughan play a Stratocaster, and then you see, you know, I don't know, Jeff Beck. Like, you can put the same instrument in somebody's hand, and you're going to get something different. That's what makes us human. Which I hope that AI is not going to take us over for that particular reason. Because, you know, I would rather hear some dude play kind of like, or make a mistake or something. I actually love to hear my heroes make a mistake. They're like, oh my God, they're human. Like, so there's that. That's what I had for y'all tonight. So thanks for hanging out. I've got to get up super early in the morning. I'm going on a camping trip. So I will see everybody in the next dimension. Be good to each other. Peace.